Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Coffee time coming back on Thirsty Thursdays. If you're listening to this in the morning, evening, or at the nighttime, grab a cup of coffee with us and drink up because we have a story for you. And it's a kind of a grim story. On August 15th, a 5-year-old boy named Cannon Hinnant was killed in North Carolina. Now, is the Coffee Time crew talking about this? Well, it seems like this is not making headline news because the suspect was a neighbor of 8 years, and the father stated that there was no bad blood between him and the suspect, which is named Daruis Sessons. And he's very confused about the neighbor's actions because he had him over for dinner a day before or a day prior that the suspected shooter murdered his son, his 5-year-old son. Now, the reason why this is not getting global news or just national news or the media coverage it deserves because Darius is a 25-year-old man and he's black and he killed a white boy. Now, if you flip this, this would be national news because in the state of the world that we live in today, where we live in the black is targeted and everything like that, or everyone is just pulling that racist card and everything. So more details on the crime is the father heard a loud pop, excuse me, and when he went to check on his son, he saw he was on the ground, realizing that his son was shot. He just thought he fell off his bike, but then further investigation, when he got close to the son, he noticed that the grim details. That was the full effect of the situation that was going on, and he saw Darius, which is the shooter, standing in the yard with a gun in his hand, pacing and being acting very frantic. Now, as always, I'm joined with Justin Avalos, and we're going to talk through this. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, isn't this a weird one, man?
Yeah, I mean, because I found out about it like earlier this week, like days after it already happened. And I was seeing like on Instagram, like people on the conservative side saying, why aren't we talking about this? Like, you want to talk about these people, yet this comes out and no one's touching it at all. And in fact, CNN, like after 3 days of people going, why aren't y'all covering this? They finally covered it like 3 days after they demanded them covering it.
Yeah, it
So
was
it took a
two
lot longer.
days. 2 days.
2 days.
The
Oh, it
17th.
was, yeah.
17th.
So it's weird. Like, how come this wasn't a nationwide thing? And then it kind of got me wondering because I remember talking to you about this. Is you know why are these things going on the backlight? Like, there's a lot of things that happen in the world, and people are using it like, oh, this guy got the justice, this and that. So it's kind of weird, like how it just all happened and how no one's really talking about it. And it does have to do with, it doesn't really fit the narrative of what's going on right now, what they're publicizing, and anything like that.
And let's just state this fact here that I am a young black male. I don't believe that you hate me, so you're not racist. I'm not racist
Hmm.
and everything. But just to say that, so we can just have a non like there's no biases or prejudice opinions here. It's just
Hmm.
the fact that the reason why this is not getting covered is because of a race factor and
Yeah.
everything. So round one, I want to talk about this, man. Like, why do you think that we're just now hearing about this, and that it's getting little to just no media coverage?
Well, I mean, it really goes back to the whole race narrative. Like, you know, people want to point, oh, well, these people are racist, yada yada, but they make everything about race. They make it everything about being a victim, and then you see the story to where the tables are turned. They have nothing to say because it disrupts their narrative of, oh, white people are racist to black people. Now it's showing, oh, wait, no, crime just happens. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
the color of the skin. Crime just happens. It just so happens that this person was black, this kid was white. And
yeah.
like you said earlier, if the roles were reversed, media outrage, say his name, protest in the street, defend our kids, we need to remove gun rights, everything they could think of will
Mm-hmm.
come from that story. But since it's not the narrative that fits, they want to still keep on, oh, and you should pray, you should, keep these people, like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and all that stuff. Of course, they were victims, they deserve the same amount of justice. But if you're going to praise them, you need to praise this so you're not making it about race.
Well, yeah, it's just showing that it is about race,
Hmm.
but it's not. I don't. I feel like we can't. we cannot judge the general community because they have not been told or been aware of the information yet
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
this little 5-year-old being killed on August 15th. It's the 19th that we're recording this. This comes out on the 20th, and I haven't seen this on my timeline. It's not trending on Twitter or anything like that. So the reason why is just I firmly believe this shows exactly what's wrong with the United States and how the media feeds us in a way where they're like, okay, well, right now we know what gets clicks and we know what is going to get us views. And it's black being oppressed, black being murdered, black being add whatever negative thing there. It's
Hmm.
not going to be black doing something, black doing wrong, and everything like that. Think about
Yeah.
it. How they covered the black protesters at first, where they were peaceful and everything. Then you saw black rioters, and what got them more media attention? The riots, because it's a negative thing there. It's just so sad that we live in a world or a state of America that's like this, that we are allowing media to feed us this. Like
Mhm.
this is where we need to stand up and like, look, we understand that there's thousands of things happen daily that you must report. But really, this couldn't get on your top list, honestly. And the reason why it didn't is because Daruis Sessons is a black man that killed a young white child. Now, if we flip it, oh my God, like
Yeah,
it will be crazy.
there'd be riots in the streets, parades, all this shit.
Yeah,
So,
it's just very sad. I was actually talking to a friend. I was actually she asked us like, hey, she asked me, it's like, hey, what's this week's podcast about? I was telling the news story and everything. She's like, wow, I didn't even hear about that. She's in a totally different state,
hmm
so you know this is not being covered
yeah, and
and
it's not the
everything.
public's, fault that, the media and, even social media itself, like, they pick and choose their things. So for you not to know about this, it's no one's real fault because no one's reporting about it. That's why with this podcast, I like that we cover the topics that no one else will cover. Like, even though we don't get the retention rates or whatever, like when someone watches this, they're able to hear things that aren't being talked about and also decide with their own opinions, their own research and everything like that what their truth is too. So that's what I like about what we do is we bring shit that people aren't really talking about and bringing it to light.
Yeah, and I just want to make it known that I'm not getting on to other people. Well, not on this round, not round one. I'm not getting on
Mhm.
to people that are not talking about this. I'm just getting like I'm holding the media accountable for just feeding us this bullshit in a way where they're
Yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna structure our platform where let's just say if it was structured backwards, where it was a white man killing a black child, this is gonna trend in every media source: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're gonna make Reddit posts about it. We're gonna really feed the network so we can get the clicks and everything. That's my issue here, and it's just sad that we allow this in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because and we can claim ignorance to a lot of stuff because a lot of people they don't read articles, they don't search for the news or anything like that. They turn on their favorite CNN or whatever ABC and just go at it,
Yeah.
and then they consume that media, and then they have one opinion that they believe that's factual based off one source media because they said it and they're not challenging what they said. And then when
Exactly.
you asked who's they, they're just lost.
Yeah.
So you ready for round two?
Yeah. Start it
All
off,
right.
bro.
Let's talk about apples to oranges. Comparing this. I've seen that people that are outraged about this, it's for the wrong reasons. They're not trying to mourn the death of a little 5-year old that just never lived his life. They're mourning the fact that Darius Sessons has been charged with first degree murder, and the cop from the Breonna Taylor situation was just fired. Like this is you cannot compare this at
Yeah.
all. I don't. People really need to look within and really question their morality and like what really matters to them. Like what I feel like they're so caught up into one narrative of being right and getting what they describe what justice is to them that
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna use anything like, well, he did it, so this should happen. It's like middle school like tactics. Like, yeah, well, if he can do it, I can do it in a way. Well, if he
Hmm.
did it and he got first degree, he should get first degree, not just get fired. The cases and the red tape between the two cases here are completely different. Now, you said you read something about a suspect that was actually, you had a witness. There was a
Yes.
witness at the scene, correct? Can you
A
tell me about it?
Doris Librand, she witnessed the shooting, said that the suspect ran up on Cannon, put the gun near his head, and fired before running back to his own home. Her reaction, she says, my first reaction was he's playing with the kids. She said, for a second, I thought that couldn't happen. People don't run across the street and kill kids. So this is an eyewitness that saw the whole thing go down.
Yeah,
So,
and Cannon's two little sisters also saw him be
mhm.
murdered as well.
And
So
then
there's
the
three
father
eyewitnesses.
also, yeah, the father also saw the suspect in the backyard holding a gun, frantic and everything like that. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of it's really easy to go brass tacks here and say like you're dead to rights here and everything like, and it's murder to first degree. With the Breonna Taylor situation, there's so much red tape. It's not even. We can dive in. We dove into that in a previous
mhm,
episode. We'll link it below, but you cannot compare these two cases, and you really need, like, honestly, people that are just focusing like, well, that person, that black man got first degree murder. Why does this race does not have anything to do with it at
yeah.
all?
And I
The
saw look
devil's
at
are in the
that.
details here.
Yeah, exactly. Because I see on Instagram all the time, like, oh, this guy was peacefully arrested, all this, but they, kneeled on his neck. I'm like, do you not see the difference between FBI agents with years of training and a local beat cop? And then
Exactly.
the circumstances, like, with the case of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, like, there's things coming out still, like the body cam footage that changed a lot.
Yeah.
So, in this case with Cannon, it's a clear cut case. People saw it. I don't know if he's even admitted to it yet. There hasn't really been a statement from him or any of his attorneys. We're still, learning about everything. But, in these cases, like, you have to see a difference. One, which one had a better attorney? Like, could this person afford an attorney? Was it provided for him for free? Did the family pay for this? What were the circumstances? Things change during each case. Not all things are the same. Like,
Yeah,
and people
100%.
don't realize that. They're like, oh no, it's because he's white or because he's black. No, it's because of circumstance and the attorney involved, or the training that was involved, or different factors that play into this.
Well, we can just state like a lot of people I feel fall into this thing called a Venn diagram complex. And
Hmm.
I know we've been talking about race a lot, but let's just talk about color here. You have two sides or two circles. You have a white circle and a black circle. And a Venn diagram, it, crosses and it makes a gray area. A lot of people now, they don't allow that cross to happen. They don't want to compare. They're just like, well, this is white and this is black. And then they add different variables into the equation, such as race now, because it's such a trending topic with everything. And I just feel like they need to break out of that complex or that helix and just be free and really, like I said, look in like inside of themselves and just say, hey, why am I upset actually?
Hmm.
Like, what's going on? Why do I feel this way? Why am I allowing what I'm reading here to upset me? And what's truth, what's false, and what can be assumed truth and everything. And not everything that you read, obviously, is
Yeah.
factual. It's all opinion based.
Like different sources, like it's the same thing as the bystander effect. Like you see, like if me and you were in the street, we see a car crash, we're gonna say two different things one on one with an interviewer because we see things differently through background, through what we thought we saw. That's why eyewitness testimony is so
It's
hard
iffy.
to do. Yeah, it
It's iffy.
is. And the other thing too, it's like, what you're talking about with people with the outrage, like, they got outraged with all these things, but I have not seen one celebrity talk about this. And I'm like, oh, I thought you cared for, these people too. Like, why are you just picking and choosing?
Yeah, of
And
course. Like, that's just the thing.
yeah,
It goes back to the fact of like what gets more clicks, more downloads, and everything like that. It's
yeah.
quite annoying.
Hmm.
But hey, man, this is a dark little topic. I don't really want to talk about it anymore and everything. So, you got any closing statements?
I mean, the the thing that bothers me the most, you're talking about the Venn diagram thing and how people separate, because black and white, like that does more damage to us tearing each other apart, playing the blame game, all this stuff than anything else. Like that's what's gonna separate us was whenever you start saying, "Oh, it's because it's this color versus that color." Like it can't be that. It just has to be a person just got killed by another person or an issue happened with another issue. Like it can't be cop versus black, white versus black, anything like that. We need to stop that shit and stop that narrative.
Exactly. Hopefully, in 2021, we can get to some type of the eye of the storm because like I told you, what, 4 or 5 podcasts ago, I feel like we're not even there yet. Like the
Hmm.
summit is still coming. Like the worst is yet to come, especially with this COVID stuff because it's supposed to disappear in summer. Winter's coming up. What's gonna happen? Everything like that. Trump is attempting to extend the unemployment benefits, which is good, but the state have to pay for it. I'm from California. California's in debt. There's so much stuff that we still just need to just breathe and prepare ourselves and not just rush to a statement and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But hey, guys, that was your coffee time for the week and everything. And as always, like we say, you are what you listen to. Every Thursday, we bring you new podcast news. But until next time, subscribe, share, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.